Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Tensions between Canada and the US have shifted into overdrive, with steep tariffs now slamming key industries, especially the deeply connected automotive sector. What began as a long-standing trade partnership is now spiraling into a high-stakes standoff, threatening supply chains and economic stability on both sides of the border. In this video, we break down how this clash began, highlight Canada's sharp counterpunch, and explore what these moves mean for automakers, workers, and drivers alike. Buckle up. This is more than just politics. This is the beginning of a trade battle built on wheels. Number 1. How the trade war hit ignition. The fuse was lit when former President Donald Trump unleashed a bold 25% tariff on imported cars and automotive parts. Trump dubbed it Liberation Day, positioning the move as a patriotic push to revive American manufacturing and recalibrate what he called a lopsided global trade field. But that declaration didn't just send shockwaves through Washington. It rattled the engine bays in Windsor, Ontario, and Monterrey, Mexico, too. The North American automotive scene has long been a synchronized machine, with vehicles and components crossing borders multiple times before rolling off the assembly line. That balance? It just got turbocharged into chaos. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney didn't idle. He hit back hard, stating that Canada's era of assuming unconditional friendship with the US was over. His speech had the tone of a leader tired of being tailgated in global trade. Carney declared that Canada would seek new, more reliable economic partners and launch a full overhaul of existing trade agreements. With that, the wheels of a retaliatory showdown were fully in motion, and the automotive sector sat squarely in the blast radius. And with the ignition sparked, Canada wasted no time putting its counter-strategy into motion. Number 2. Canada's tactical recalibration. Canada didn't waste time playing defense. It jumped straight into gear with a counter-offensive strategy. Prime Minister Carney introduced retaliatory tariffs aimed at high-impact US industries, carefully choosing sectors that could apply maximum pressure both economically and politically. He kept the specifics under wraps at first, but emphasized that these responses would match the US measures in both weight and intent. But Carney didn't stop at tit-for-tat tariffs. In a bold shift, Canada started exploring new trade lanes, pivoting away from its US-centric playbook. He called for a reshaping of Canada's economic future by cultivating relationships with dependable global partners. It was a clear signal. Canada wasn't just reacting, it was repositioning. The strategy wasn't just about avoiding short-term economic pain, it was about future-proofing, transforming dependence into diversification and making sure the next trade scuffle doesn't leave Canada stuck in neutral. These moves made one thing abundantly clear. Canada wasn't going to be muscled off the road. It was ready to downshift and punch it toward a new economic horizon, even if that meant some rough terrain along the way. As Canada mapped out its new economic route, the auto industry braced for the first potholes caused by the tariffs. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore number 3. Tariffs take a toll on the auto game. No sector felt the heat more immediately than the automotive industry. With just-in-time production models and razor-thin margins, even a minor disruption can throw a wrench in operations. A 25% tariff? That's not a speed bump, it's a brick wall. Analysts warned that the cost of vehicles like the Toyota Tacoma and Chevrolet Equinox could spike by up to $6,000. Why? Many of these models rely on Canadian or Mexican assembly lines, and those cost increases get passed straight down the line, to dealerships and then to the consumers. Interestingly, the United Auto Workers, UAW, who often clashed with Trump in the past, actually welcomed the tariffs. UAW President Shawn Fain said US plants had idle capacity and could take on more production. It was a rare moment of alignment between a union and Trump's economic nationalism, but not everyone was ready to celebrate. Industry insiders warned of widespread challenges, supply chain jams, increased overhead, and looming layoffs if production couldn't pivot quickly enough. Car makers now had to make hard choices, either absorb the extra costs or find new ways to keep assembly lines humming in a less cooperative North America. And this isn't just about cars. The shockwaves from these tariffs are rippling far beyond the showroom floor. Number 4. Ripple effects across the economy and politics. The tariff drama didn't stay parked in the automotive lane. It veered straight into broader economic territory. With President Trump expanding duties into agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and more, economists started sounding alarms. Inflation fears grew, and some even whispered recession, as global supply chains began to show stress fractures. In Canada, Prime Minister Carney's strong stance earned him domestic praise, but it also came with heavy pressure. Diversifying trade isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It takes time, strategy, and major resources. While retaliatory tariffs sent a clear political message, they also risked short-term pain for long-term gains, especially for sectors that rely heavily on U.S. trade. Globally, other countries watched this North American trade standoff unfold with concern. The fear? That this tit-for-tat could set a dangerous new precedent, normalizing economic conflict between longtime allies. As the economic pressure builds, all eyes turn to diplomacy to see if there's a road back from this collision course. Number 5. Can diplomacy still steer the wheel? Despite the tension, not all hope is lost. Both Trump and Carney have publicly left the door open, albeit slightly, for negotiation. Trump hinted that talks could happen after tariffs are enforced, while Carney stated Canada wouldn't bow to unilateral demands, but remained open to constructive dialogue. Their first official call offered a rare glimmer of optimism. Described as productive, the call ended with both sides agreeing to resume talks, though after Canada's elections wrap up. Ministerial-level discussions are expected to heat up in the meantime, but no one's holding their breath for a resolution before the April 2nd deadline. Complicating matters, both leaders have pressing domestic agendas. Carney is in campaign mode, while Trump has doubled down on his America First platform. That makes compromise a tough sell politically, even if cooler economic minds are urging otherwise. Meanwhile, Canada is actively courting new partners. Meetings in Europe focused on joint efforts in auto and energy sectors, and headlines like, "Is Canada getting out of the US shadow?" are gaining traction overseas. But disentangling from the US won't be quick or painless. Energy, agriculture, and automotive links run deep. Right now, we're watching two deeply connected economies drift apart. The damage may be hard to undo if full-scale retaliation begins, and that's where the stakes become global. Verdict: a collision course with no clear winners. This isn't just another diplomatic spat, it's a full-throttle confrontation that could change the course of North American trade. With US tariffs driving up vehicle prices and Canada fighting back on multiple fronts, the toll on consumers, supply chains, and international relations is already being felt. Both leaders have drawn their lines. Trump insists these tariffs are permanent, while Carney is actively charting a new course overseas. But even with all this tough talk, the reality remains: both countries need each other. Severing decades of integrated trade comes with massive consequences for jobs, industries, and everyday drivers. So, what now? We're approaching the final turn before April 2nd. If diplomacy fails, the North American engine could sputter into a long economic Cold War. Before you go, let's hear from you. We've covered a lot of ground, but what do you think? Do you believe Trump's 25% tariff is a bold strategy to bring jobs back, or a self-inflicted wound on US consumers? Is Canada's pivot toward Europe and Asia a smart move, or will it weaken its North American footing? Will this trade rift force automakers to rethink how and where they build vehicles? Are we on the verge of a global trade domino effect? And most importantly, how do you think this will affect you as a driver or car buyer? Share your take in the comments below. Your perspective is what keeps Highway Herald rolling. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives, expert analysis, and real-time updates from the road ahead. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next ride. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.